Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. This is our third edition of Facebook live session dedicated to the recruitment of our future potential candidates who would like to join Frontex, the European Border and Coast Guard Agency. My name is Katarzyna Chudzińska and I work as a communication specialist, and I'll be your host and moderator for today. But today with me, I have also my guest speakers, starting with Marisa. Marisa is Standing Corps Officer Category 1 team member position. Hi, Marisa.
Hi, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you.
And here with me in the studio, from my left, Vasilis. Vasilis is the recruitment team leader for Standing Corps. Hi, Vasilis.
Nice to be here again.
Yes, Vasilis is already third time with us for this live streaming. Next to Vasilis, Barbora. Barbora is Standing Corps Selection and Development Unit Career Specialist. Hi, Barbora.
Thank you. Hello, Kasia.
And last but not least, Mihai. Mihai has been recently appointed as a section leader. And in addition, he's temporarily managing the Deputy Contingent Commander responsibilities for return contingent. Pleasure to have you all here. Well, our topic of the recruitment of the session actually is the recruitment of EU Border and Coast Guard officers, known in other words as Standing Corps. So now during the session, we will try to answer questions that you have submitted to us in advance on the question that you are interested in about recruitment process, career possibilities, training, deployments, and so on. Okay. First, we will tackle the questions that we have received in advance, but if time allows also, we will take the questions that you can now submit to us during the chat. But before we move to the questions, we have a short video we would like to share with you, featuring our officers in action. So let's have a look. I hope you enjoyed the video. And now it's time to take the questions. We have divided the questions thematically into specific categories. The first category will be eligibility, education, and experience, then followed by other criteria such as nationality, age. Then we will talk about Standing Corps work, training, and profiles. We will move them to recruitment and application process. And finally, we will take all other questions. I haven't mentioned that the video will be recorded, so you will be able also to rewatch it at any convenient time for you. Okay, but let's take now the questions from the first category, eligibility, education, and experience. Quite many questions. I'm looking now here at Vasilis, as most of the questions will be directed to him. So Vasilis, one of the most recurring questions we receive is, how can I apply? Could you please briefly explain what's the process? How can you apply?
Of course, it's very simple. All you have to do is go to, all the candidates have to do, go to our website, our career website, find the vacancy, the published vacancy, follow the links, submit the application form after they download it, and that's it. They will have to submit through our microsite, following the instructions. I know there are some, sometimes there are some issues with the microsite or with the PDF form, so if the candidates have any issue, they need to send us an email. Make sure that they follow the instructions that our staff is giving them. For example, do not do it on a MacBook, or always make sure that you have the latest version of Adobe Reader. Make sure that you do everything correctly. Do not change anything in the settings of the document, so the document will not be corrupted. That's also very important. If it doesn't work, you can always re-download it and then copy-paste the input. And something that I have to say it just to make it clear for that, because this year is the first time we're introducing a new version of our application form, that there is no technical issue with the calculation of the years of experience. It's just that the calculation form starts calculating the experience after the minimum educational criteria are met. So if someone graduated in 2020 from university, the application form will calculate only the experience that comes after this. This doesn't mean that in the assessment it will not be taken into consideration. This is for checking the eligibility requirements and the eligibility criteria.
Okay, so that's a very, very important remark. Now, speaking about the requirements, what are the main requirements to become EU Border and Coast Guard officer?
Yes, well, this is a recurring question, and I understand that it's not very clear to the candidates outside of Frontex. We have to make a distinction between the eligibility criteria and the selection criteria, because it's normal, it's natural that it is a bit confusing for the candidates. The eligibility criteria are the criteria that all the candidates need to meet in order to be considered for assessment. And these are to be an EU citizen or Schengen associate, coming from a Schengen associate country, to have the minimum educational requirements, the diplomas, as described in the vacancy notice. For the countries that is applicable to have fulfilled the military service, like in Greece or Cyprus, for example, to have at least, to be able to speak at least 2 European languages at B2 level.
What languages?
Any EU languages. The eligibility criteria is any 2 EU languages. Now, the English language is one of the selection criteria, because English is, of course, our working language here. So a level of B2 in English is also essential, if not mandatory, for someone to be successful. But for the eligibility, it is the criteria that I mentioned. And then we move to the selection criteria, which are also described extensively in the vacancy notices, which are the criteria against which the candidates are assessed during the procedure. Meaning, if someone is an EU citizen, they are eligible. But if they do not have the experience required, and here I will go mainly to the 88, to the section leader profile, where law enforcement experience is required. Even if someone has the eligibility criteria, doesn't mean that they're qualified to become section leaders if they do not have the selection criteria required. So they are assessed at different stages, and whoever doesn't have the minimum eligibility, they are not considered at all. Like, they are excluded from the procedure, regardless of the years of experience someone might have, if they don't have any of the criteria that I just mentioned.
You mentioned section leader. Earlier we talked about team member. So we know that there are 2 recruitments for 2 different profiles with different requirements.
Yes.
What's the total number you will hire, actually Frontex will hire, for each position?
Well, for the team members and for the section leaders, we are looking to recruit around 300 new standing core members as of next year, autumn 2026. And that will be it.
Okay. One of the quite often recurring question was about the reserve list, and I think we have to answer that question. So are there any developments regarding the reserve list? People were put as successful on the reserve list. So are these lists going to be used? And do the shortlisted candidates have to reapply again this year?
Well, this is a question we have to answer every year. And I want to repeat again, just to give some insight to the candidates, what does a reserve list mean? And how the reserve lists, why they're created, and how they're used. At the end of every selection procedure, not only Stanicor, every selection procedure, there is a list established, as we call it, reserve list. This is the end of the selection procedure, officially, and that's it. So the candidates, the top scoring candidates, based on merit, they are being offered the available posts until all the positions are filled, or the available positions are filled. The reserve list stays valid for a certain period of time, which, whenever new positions become available, it is being consulted, meaning a lot of criteria, a lot of different elements are taken into consideration before a decision on the use of the reserve list is taken or not. The decision comes always from the management after considering the operational needs, any changes in the procedures. It can be based on many different factors, on the number of applicants, the number of available applicants on the reserve list. It could be the case that the reserve list is not big enough to cover the current needs. It can be the case that they change the procedure in the way we do the assessment. So all these things are taken into consideration, and placement on a reserve list, I want to reiterate this, does not guarantee a job offer, not only for the Stanicor. For all the procedures, for all the vacancies that we publish, both here in Frontex, at the other agencies and institutions, this is the same regulation, after all. It's the staff regulation that we're all following. So the question says if there is any development, so there cannot be any development because it is something that we don't expect anything to develop there. It is a decision to use it or not, which, as I said, comes from the management. Now, in this case, this year, the management decided to publish the new vacancies and not use the reserve list, the available reserve lists, which means that the candidates that they have already made the reserve list from last year or any other reserve list, not only for the Stanicor, if they want to be considered, they will have to apply again through this procedure. And if they apply, because I know we have received a lot of questions about this, they have to go successfully through all the stages in order to be placed on the reserve list and be considered for an employment for the new campaign. All tests, meaning the knowledge test, the English test, Barbara will explain later the stages of the procedure, but no one can be excluded from any procedure simply because they were placed on the reserve list or because they may have some kind of certificates. I mean, someone might have a C2 certificate in English.
Okay, so in other words, it means that the fact that you are on the reserve list, it doesn't have any implications on the new recruitment process, right?
The new recruitment or any other process. One person can be in 10 different reserve lists at the same time. There is no limitation in this. Anyone can apply to whatever position they feel that they have they match the description that they want to do, they have the motivation, and they can apply to as many as they want. There's no limitation.
Okay, thank you for this extensive response. Moving on to the next question, we know that we are looking for people with no education, but educational background in law enforcement. Could you confirm that this is indeed the case, that we are looking for people with various backgrounds? And if so, for what position actually can I apply if I don't have any experience in law enforcement?
Well, for the team members, which is in functional group 4, contract agents functional group 4, anyone can apply, and as long as they meet the basic eligibility criteria. And in this case, if someone doesn't come from the law enforcement, meaning to have the training, the professional training as described in the vacancy, they must have a university diploma. The major, it's irrelevant. But anyone can apply because no law enforcement is required for the team member. I repeat. Why? Because for the AD8, for the section leader, for the deputy section leader, law enforcement experience is essential, among others.
Okay, so you tackled already my next question. What are the requirements for deputy section leader? But this was already answered. Moving on, are there any exceptions that can be applied? For instance, shorter educational cycle, but with very extensive experience in law enforcement.
No. I think this is a very simple answer. All the criteria as mentioned in the vacancy, they have to be met, meaning minimum 6 months of professional training or longer, because there are many different law enforcement schools across Europe. Minimum is 6 months and followed by 3 years of experience. So someone who doesn't have the training, the professional training, they cannot be taken into consideration because they do not meet this criterion. Only high school and experience, it is not enough to be considered as eligible. And now, because we also receive a lot of questions about this, what kind of training is taken into consideration? Just to clarify, we are looking for the training that makes someone a police officer or a lieutenant or whatever, like within the law enforcement. Any particular smaller trainings of 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, these are irrelevant to us.
That's too short.
They are too short, but also they are not. They are just they are trainings that the staff, like everyone, is doing in order to acquire more skills. It's not the one that is making you, like, it's as we call it, the basic training that will give you the basic skills and knowledge to perform your duties. This is what we're looking for. It can be the case that someone might have 4-month training in order to enter as a low-level police officer, and then some years later to attend another 4-month training, which will give them the promotion or a higher grade. This, we can take it as 2 basic trainings, but starting the calculation from the second one, not from the first one, which means that all the experience in between those trainings, they cannot be taken into consideration. And this we do it because according to the member states, this is also considered as an official diploma that makes you a police officer, makes you a lieutenant, makes you a major, whatever, depending on from which branch you're coming from. But any smaller training to us is irrelevant for the eligibility assessment, not for the assessment of someone's experience and skills, which comes at a later stage, just to be clear.
Okay. Very clear. I hope so. Still about eligibility requirements related to education. Let's say I'm about to finalizing my university degree, but the diploma will be issued in the upcoming months. So probably after closing the date for recruitment.
Yes.
Am I eligible to apply if I don't have any experience in law enforcement?
Yes. We're talking about the team members.
Team member
now,
position.
if in some countries, the diplomas that are issued, they have 2 dates. It's the date that someone graduated and the date that the diploma was awarded. It could be the case that the diploma is awarded 2-3 years later. We cannot exclude a candidate based on some administrative mistake or administrative error or issue in the particular member state. If the candidate can provide us with a document, official document, that they have completed their studies and it was decided by the university that they are eligible for a diploma on a date before the deadline, then we can take this. But it needs to be proven by the candidate by an official document that they have completed their studies successfully, and the only thing that remains is to take the oath. In some countries, there's no such distinction because it is considered the candidates graduate upon taking the oath and being awarded the diploma. In some other countries, they're considered as as graduates from the moment that they have passed, that the decision was made, and the award ceremony. It is just to be given the diploma. So it really depends on what the candidate can prove. In any case, we need proof that someone graduated before the deadline for applications.
So it's about the graduation date, the date when we finish our studies,
Yes.
not when the document was issued.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Yes, because we had a case in member state that because of some admin issues, the diplomas were awarded 2 years later. But on the awarded diploma, there was a date of actual graduation. So as long as we see the date of actual graduation, For us, it's okay.
What about non-EU universities? Are diplomas from those educational establishments recognized?
Yes, but
Yes, but
well, they have to be declared in the application form, the country of origin, from the country where the candidates obtained the diploma. At the first stage, at the first eligibility check, if we see that the candidate has a diploma from a non-EU member state, we do not exclude them. We take them in conditionally, and the condition that they have to meet is by the time of recruitment, if they are successful candidates, they need to provide us with a state of equivalency from a member state, from an EU member state. Meaning that if you have a diploma from the States or from, from South America, we have from the UK, after January 2021, because after Brexit officially happened, then we need an official recognition from a member state. All UK diplomas before January 2021, we accept them as equivalent because back then UK was still part of the EU.
Okay. I would just slightly change the topic because I now see a question that I think it might be quite important for our viewers. We often speak about selection criteria and eligibility criteria. For you, for recruiters, for people working in the agency, that might be clear, but maybe not necessarily for our viewers and applicants. So could you explain what's the difference between selection and eligibility criteria?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the eligibility criteria is the minimum requirement according to the staff regulation. And for someone to be considered, the minimum education level, the EU citizenship, very important, the military service, the languages. These are the minimum criteria someone must have in order to be considered at all,
So
in order
it's
to be
bare
assessed.
bare
Yes.
minimum.
Someone who is not an EU citizen or Schengen associate.
But I believe I can have double citizenship, one EU and one
Yes, of
non-EU.
course.
That's
Yes,
still fine.
yes. We need someone to have EU citizenship or Schengen associate. Someone who is not a citizen of these countries, they will not be considered at all, regardless of the training they have, of the experience, none at all whatsoever.
Okay, so this is like a very, very first stage of
Yes.
checking the application.
Exactly, and it derives from the staff regulation. So all EU servants in all the agencies, in all the institutions, they need to have these criteria fulfilled in order to be considered. Now, the selection criteria are the criteria against which the candidates are actually assessed. If someone has the required experience, particular specialization on a field, I mean, we're talking about a field job here in the team members, so a particular technical skill might be required. So this will be assessed at a later stage. These are the selection criteria. So someone might be eligible, but might not have the selection criteria, meaning they will be eliminated from the procedure later on. And the selection criteria are being assessed throughout the selection procedure. Meaning even the knowledge test, which we will discuss in a bit about procedures, it assesses certain criteria, meaning that if you failed the knowledge test, meaning that you failed one of the selection criteria, so you are disqualified. Same with the physical aptitude, same with the psychometric, same with the interview. All of these, they assess the selection criteria, and it is essential that the candidates are successful in order to be considered. Failing one of these, meaning just to make it clear, failing one of these steps, it means that the candidate has failed to meet one of the essential criteria, at least one.
Okay, so in other words, to be successful, you have to meet all eligibility criteria and all the selection criteria.
Yes, someone who meets all the criteria, they make the reserve list, but then again, the selection is done based on merit. Maybe, maybe Barbara can, as the one who drafted the vacancy, can say some more things about this.
Yeah, our unit was drafting the vacancy notices that are current open. It's FG4 for the team member and
Just to clarify, FG4, that's the team member position.
Yes, and 88, that's the deputy section leader. As Vasilis mentioned, the recruitment is based on merit, which means that candidates are scored throughout the procedure. There are 4 stages. The first stage starts with the knowledge test. That's the first filter, and with the English test. The English test is the only one that is assessed pass or fail, but the rest of the tests, the candidates will get scored for it. The top scoring candidates will proceed to the next stage. For FG4, it is 2,200 candidates, as foreseen in the vacancy notice, will proceed to the stage 2. In the stage 2, there will be physical aptitude tests and swimming tests and psychometric tests. After doing these tests and getting the scores, the top scoring candidates again will proceed to the next stage, to the third stage, where we have two types of interviews. One is with the psychologist and the other one with selection committee, with the interview panel. And after that, the top scoring candidates are selected, offered the job, while the job offer is conditional, meaning that they will be invited for a medical checkup, and if they pass, they are hired.
Okay.
And also the eligibility will be confirmed in this stage, because they have to provide supporting documents that are supporting actually the declaration made in their application form. They are proving that it's correct.
Okay, I would like to now go back maybe to the English language test, which you mentioned that it's, in the recruitment selection process. And one of the questions we receive from our viewers is that, well, if I studied my master degree at English speaking university, so we presume this is quite high level, C1, maybe C2. So will my language test be recognized, or do I still have to take the test?
They still have to take the test.
Okay, but I guess in that case it should be probably easy for
It will be easier,
that
yes.
person.
But as I said, everyone has to go through all the stages and take all the steps.
Okay. My next question is about working experience in multicultural environment. Do you consider it as advantageous, working experience from other foreign country in multinational, multicultural environment? And if so, in what way a foreign country experience is perceived more valuable or more important or as an advantage?
In the vacancy notice, yes, we foresee it as a advantageous criterion for FG4, for the team member. And we consider a valuable experience the one that is working, actually, not studying, in the multicultural environment, and preferably abroad, not in the country of your origin.
Well, in the end, all recruited colleagues will be working in multicultural environment with colleagues from other nationalities. Okay. Also, one of the quite frequently recurring question was about age. Is there any minimum and maximum age limit for team member position to apply? And is it really strictly enforced?
Well, the age limit, it is one of the selection criteria, not eligibility criteria, meaning that anyone, regardless of age, they can apply. Now, meaning that it being a selection criterion means that later on the selection committee might decide to apply it because it is essential. So there is no limit on, there's no upper limit, but for the team members, 47, as mentioned in the vacancy, it is essential.
47 for team members.
For team members.
Yes. What about deputy?
No age limit.
Okay, so there is no age limit for higher position. For lower entry-level position, yes, there is age limit, 47. Okay. Again, back to eligibility criteria. Can I apply if I don't have EU citizenship at this moment?
No. But
I will soon have one.
No. if someone doesn't have doesn't have the EU citizenship by the time by next Monday, when is the deadline for applications actually at 12 o'clock, then they will not be taken into consideration. They will not, unless someone lies at their application form, which is not recommended, because we will see that it is
Sooner or later, exactly.
I mean, there will be, they will have to, the citizenship is proven by, you know, like providing documents, either the passport or certificates from back home, issued by its member state. But no, EU citizenship is the most essential, eligibility criterion for someone to meet.
Do officers from other law enforcement services, or maybe from underrepresented countries, they have priority in the recruitment process?
No one has priority. Just to make it clear, no one has priority in terms of nationality, gender, prior law enforcement experience. No one has any priority. If someone is coming from law enforcement, it is inevitable that for the deputy section leader, they may have an experience that some civilian like us, like me, and you will not have, and it's absolutely normal and understandable. But when it comes to team leader, to team member, the law enforcement experience, as we said, is not mandatory, it's not essential. The candidates are not assessed on any law enforcement related criteria, if I'm not mistaken. There's nothing related to law enforcement for the team members. So they do not have any priority. All the priority comes from the performance, if I can say it like that, through the performance during the procedure. If someone performs well and they score high, then they will have priority against others that they did not score as well.
In this understanding,
Yes.
so the best performing candidates, they will
Yes.
have priority, not only based on the
Exactly.
former experience.
It is very clearly mentioned in the vacancy. We repeat it again, that this is the only, merit is the only thing taken into consideration to offer the available posts.
Correct.
Some people, they have already worked in law enforcement, and in the meantime they retired, but they're still young enough, you know, to proceed with career. So, as retired law enforcement specialist, can they still apply?
Yes.
As simple as that.
Yes.
Okay, and another question. If I'm already standing corps officer, let's say a team member position, can I apply for most probably higher grade?
Well, yes, they can apply for higher grade, but taking advantage of your question, I would like to mention something here about the colleagues who are currently at team member, and they might be interested in applying again for a team member position. Of course, they are.
I think I know where you're heading.
Yes, because we have had some cases in the past, and we will have some again now. According to the staff regulation, if someone is moving position at the same function group, at the same grade, they move with their contract, period. They cannot sign a new contract while they're at the same grade, at the same function group. And just to be frank, to be, to be honest here, if I have a certain job and I'm applying for the exact same one at the exact same level, what's the point of it?
Well, some people maybe think that they will be able to extend the contract.
But well, the contract, they can apply for a higher level, sign a new contract, and renew the decade, because I know we are also receiving this within Frontex, as a standing corps, because the 10 years apply only for the standing corps, and
5 plus 5
plus 5, only for the standing corps colleagues, and only at the same contract. Someone can change contract in the meantime, and then the 10 years again starts from the beginning. So someone might be already at the first year. We have Mihai here, very good example of this. He recently started signing a new contract. Here again, the 10 years start from the beginning.
Okay.
But if you are successful at the same grade that you are now, you are not signing a new contract. You are moving by default with the contract. Here you're not moving anyway, because it's exactly the same function, exactly the same. But this applies to all the colleagues, even in the HQ, regardless if it's standing corps or HQ. Same rule applies to everyone.
Okay. I hope that this answer was was very clear for our colleagues. Closing the section on eligibility, I would like to move on now to standing core training, work, profiles, and the development. So one of the first questions on my list is about the training. How long does it take to be trained for standing core officer, and where the training takes place? I'm looking at Barbara,
Yes,
Mihai,
I can
Marisa.
start, and then okay, the training is up to 1 year long. Currently, the training is here in Warsaw, but as you know, as in previous years, it can be anywhere in EU member states. So at this point of time, we cannot guarantee where the training will be, but candidates will be informed in due time via the website or email.
Mm-hmm. Do we know approximate date when the trainings may start?
Yes, that
How
would
long
be
this whole recruitment process will take place, and when the candidates may expect invitation to join, to participate in a training?
that should be November, if I remember correctly.
So autumn next year. Still a little bit of time. Okay, but could you maybe tell us more details how the training looks like? What are the courses the trainees can expect during the operational training program? We call it OTP, and at Frontex here we use plenty of abbreviation. In any case, what can they expect during the training? What kind of courses and modules?
Well, I think that this operational training program has constantly developed. So what was comprised in this program at the beginning for the first batches compared to how it looks now, it's actually a very good difference, very big difference in a good manner. And I think the colleagues that are now thinking to apply for the ADA positions, or also anybody who is watching now and interested in the new position, I think they will find this training very engaging. From theoretical aspects, from hands-on training, like for example how to check the security features from the document, or other related issues like shooting, tactical, self-defense, first aid.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, from my point of view, as I categorize the trainings, I ask myself the question, would I pay for this training? And the answer is yes, I would pay for this training. So I think they will find it really engaging.
Mm-hmm. So I see there is a nice combination of theoretical courses, but also practical ones.
Yes,
Yeah?
indeed.
What kind of accommodation do officers can expect during the training program, and is it organized, provided by Frontex? And can I take my family with me if I have one?
Well, I think the answer here, it also depends where the training is organized. So as it is this year organized in Warsaw, the accommodation is not provided by Frontex, as this is the place of employment for the colleagues. But if it's organized in another area, so more than 50 kilometers away from Warsaw, the accommodation is provided.
Okay.
Of course, to answer for the family, the question, if they can bring their family, of course they can bring their family, but it will be on their own expense.
Mm-hmm. Understand. Will I be paid during my training? We know training lasts a couple of long months, so well, we all have some expenses. So can I expect any kind of salary or allowances during my training?
Yes, full salary, allowances, everything from first month. It doesn't matter if someone is on a training or not. They still have a contract of employment, and the salary will be paid immediately as soon as they start, on the pay date.
Okay. Well, we know it can happen that someone does not pass a module, a course. What happens then? Do I have a chance for retaking an exam? I'm looking at Marisa nodding her head.
Yes, you have the chance to retake, and all the necessary support will be given to you during the course. So all the trainers will support you in order for you to achieve the goal and pass that model. I'm talking not only as a trainee that I was, but also as a trainer in the basic training.
Mhm.
Is
Thanks,
how it
Marisa.
works.
Thanks, Marisa. Now I'm thinking like you both went through operational training program. Marisa at the basic level, you, Mihai, on advanced. Are there any differences in courses for the team members and for section leaders or deputy section leaders?
Definitely. I get.
Needs to be, but the basic is the basic, and then as Michael is going to a group leader, of course needs to have an extra training, mainly in leadership and management. If I'm not wrong, but he can confirm.
There are two models, extra models, one in leadership, one in the management, and also the hands-on approach. And for the experiential training is slightly different than the one for the team members.
Mhm. Okay, let's say I have successfully completed my training. We know that there is a number of profiles people can have once they finish the education. Crew member, the briefing officer, or for instance, return specialist, advanced level document officer, cross-border crime detection officer. I could enumerate, it's a big number of profiles. How is it assessed or decided who will take a specific role after the training? So do the trainees have a chance to say something, express their preference for a profile?
As you mentioned, Kasia, there are plenty of profiles, and they can also find more information on our website about the profiles. What I can say more about the profiles is that we have a policy on profile assignment. We have a committee that will be deciding, and yes, you can apply for a profile. You have to pass the specialized training specifically for this profile, and the committee will decide on, will assess you and will decide whether you get this profile or not. They will take into account your previous experience, your full skill set, and the results of the training.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Barbara. Now, still focusing on section leaders, deputy section leaders, and team members' position. What are the main differences in your task? There must be, but could you clarify? What do you do on a daily basis, Mihai? And Marisa, what do you do as a team member?
As team member, our job is to execute the tasks and the duties that our mainly group leader allocates to us. So can be whatever it's needed for the operation to run and to be successful. And mainly is that. And also depending on your profile, because your profile also gives you the duties and responsibilities. In my case, I'm information officer. Now I'm deployed at the headquarters, but I can be deployed as I have been already deployed in other joint operation. And the role of the group leader is actually to task us and to check and see if everything goes as is written in operational plans. But that is the Johan part to say something.
Yeah,
And Mihai, what about you? What?
it's basically a difference in roles and responsibilities. As the team members are focused more on the basic tasks of the law enforcement and border guard community. And we are talking here about border control, border checks and border surveillance, also migration management. So those hands-on tasks that we accustom and to see the officer, whether we are crossing the border or we in other type of setup. So mainly the first person that we see when we travel. On the other hand, the section leader and in our situation, the deputy section leader, who also keeps the position of the section leader when the section leader is away, is more focused on coordinating the activities, on arranging the activity of the group leaders and the team members.
Okay. I would like to move now to other types of questions regarding the deployment. We have received quite a big number of questions regarding deployments. How long do they last? Do I have anything to say regarding choosing the place of my next deployment? What are the criteria? Based on what criteria are deployments locations assigned to officers? So, and what are the example of duty station?
It's on
You
me.
can take it if you want. We can complement each other, or I can take.
Is it possible also to be deployed outside the EU or in Warsaw?
Yes, the answer is yes to all three questions. So within the EU, within the third countries where we currently organize joint operations.
Where, for example?
We have the Western Balkans, for example. We have Georgia, the Republic of Moldova, Cape Verde, a new addition to our operations. And also a slightly low amount is deployed here in Warsaw for horizontal activities, supporting different processes or the colleagues in the field. So you can have all three positions or the type of locations. When it comes to the deployments and the length of the deployments, I'm happy to say that there were a lot of developments since the beginning, and we have now a new deployment and rotation policy that also allows the preference of the officer to be heard. But big note on this, because the first criterion that is going to be assessed is the operational needs. However, if we can fit both the operational needs and also the request of the officer, then we always try to do it.
Okay. I know, always operational needs, that's the first criteria, but it's good to hear, that things are changing. We know that there are some couples between our officers. Some people already have joined in the same batch before. In some other cases, one partner joins later. Is it possible to be deployed together to the same duty station?
Well, it depends what you mean in duty station, because usually they
Deployment
don't.
area.
Yes, they don't work together exactly in the same location, but it is possible to be mainly to have the same accommodation together and to work in the proximity of that the accommodation area, so the family can be together. But it's not a right or let's say an obligation, depending on which party we are thinking on. But we strive to support the families, because this is normally when you function at home, you function at work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's good to hear. Vasilis, you want to
And
complement?
just to complement something on this, that there cannot be a reporting relationship between people who may have a conflict of interest. In this case, a married couple, that one cannot report to the other. They might be stationed in the same deployment area, but not on the same function, not on the same reporting line. This is prohibited.
Yeah, I think it's quite.
And
situation is be deployed in the same joint operation. It's the minimum. But then you can actually, as Vasily said, you cannot be reporting to your husband or wife. But in my experience, I think this is advantage for the agency and also for us as Standing Core, because I totally agree with Mihaly. When we are stable in our personal life, we can deliver much better our work.
That's. I think definitely we can all agree that it can have a positive impact on our private life, but also on our performance.
Agency is actually very engaged in this topic.
Okay, I have another question regarding training. Do all Standing Core officers, they have to follow training on the use of weapon? Does a course on the use of weapon help in the recruitment?
Yes, there is. It is a part of OTP, as you said, that Frontex staff understands what it is. It's operational training program, the basic training. It's included, and then they have to follow the annual training on weapons, and they have to also pass the training. Yeah.
And if I completed a training already in advance before applying to Frontex, does it help in the recruitment?
Not in the recruitment, because it's not a criterion to be assessed, but for you it's definitely an added value for the future, because you already have some skill that it's required during the basic training and will be required throughout your career later.
So it can help us later succeeding in training courses and performing our duties.
yes.
Let me move now.
Definitely.
Let me move now to our next session, dedicated, the part of the session dedicated to recruitment and application process. If I succeeded in the recruitment process, how long will it take to join agency? So specifically from the initial information I pass all the procedure to the entry into service date. Okay.
Well, as we said earlier, this is a very lengthy procedure. We just published now the applications. The submission for applications is still ongoing. I want to repeat again, deadline Monday, the 15th at 12 o'clock. Please do not wait until last minute to submit your application. Very important. But now, going to the question.
Well, how long it will
how
take?
long? Yes.
It's already lengthy.
yes, it is already lengthy. How long it will take? We are trying to give to the candidates as much time as possible between the confirmation, the job offer and confirmation of the contract and the start date. We are not always able to give too much time. I think this year we managed to inform all the candidates a month and a half in advance. So we gave them some time to take care of personal affairs, employer relationship with current employer. If the start date remains as we're planning right now for autumn 2026, November, this might change. This is an indicative start date. Then we will try to inform all the candidates by the end of summer about actual start date. But as we said, there are a lot of steps that need to be finalized. Some of them, the very last stage, which is the confirmation of eligibility, it really depends on the speed of the candidates are working on. because we're requesting for the documents. If candidates are delayed with providing us the documents, then technically they're delaying the whole process, because we cannot conclude the procedure if we don't have all the files closed. So when we get to the late stages, it's not only up to us to work as quick as possible. And as I said, we are doing the best we can, given the circumstances, to give everyone as much time as possible.
Okay. One of the questions now asked during our live was around what date the first responses, the invitations to the next stage can be provided, will be shared with candidates.
Well, as everything is still ongoing, as we're collecting applications, and the indicative date for the first stage is mid-January. I will not give an exact date, obviously.
More or less.
Yes, stage 1 it is mid-January, and then stage 2 we start in February, unless we have some unforeseen circumstances. Anything?
No.
And one other question was, in the application form, if I choose no to any of the questions and listed in the application, will I be excluded?
Well, it depends what's the question. There is this particular question that is asking the candidates if this is self-declaration of eligibility. This is just an example. It's a self-declaration of eligibility, asking if the candidate has the minimum education and work experience as described in the vacancy notice. If someone says no, then it's very likely that the candidate will be excluded. Of course, we will cross-check the application, but this is something that we will also mention when we're giving some tips on the application, to always double-check the application before you submit it, to make sure that all the information is correct and corresponds to reality in your background.
And do not wait until very last moment.
Do not wait until last moment, please. Do not wait until last moment.
Okay, now let's move to some more pleasant things. Benefits. Yes, we all.
Pleasant what we're talking about.
Well, you know, actually, what kind of benefits are people entitled to as standing core officers? Will they have insurance? How many days off they can expect? And actually, whether are they entitled to take any days off during the training?
Well, I will start with the general HR, and then maybe you can complement about leave during training. Well, standing or not, everybody has the same benefits, and they are entitled to the same list of benefits. On top of the salary, we receive the expatriation allowance. By the way, everything is mentioned in the vacancy notice, so in details. It's the expatriation allowance.
Could you explain actually who is entitled to receive expatriation allowance?
Well, whoever is not Polish, because we are located in Poland, which is the place of employment. For Polish citizens, they have to be employed outside of Poland for a certain number of years in order to be considered as expatriates. I mean,
not working in the
working in the European institutions. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, 10 years outside of the country, not working in the European institutions. And even if you are not a Polish citizen, but you live in Warsaw, in Poland, for a certain number of years, then you might not be entitled to the expatriation allowance, but to the foreigner allowance, which is a smaller amount, because you reside in the country for many years before your employment. And on top of that, there are also allowances related to your family situation, if you're married, if you have kids, the children allowance, the education allowance as well, for colleagues who have kids and their kids are not going to the accredited European school, which we have to say is for free for Frontex staff members. And leave, when it comes to leaves, it is the same entitlement like everyone, 2 days per working month, plus additionally, depending on the place of origin, the years of service, the age. It's one of the good things. And the older you get, you might get more days of leave. And
some advantage.
Yes, some advantages. And then for leave during the training, maybe the colleagues.
I can say only that it's obligatory. The participation in the training is obligatory. And obviously, if you take leave, you will miss out lectures and session. You will miss out the training. So the leaves are in the periods when there is a break.
Okay, so there are some fixed days for all officers to be taken at the same time. Similarly, like at the universities, high school, other educational.
It's training. It's training, yes.
Voila.
Yes.
Voila.
Besides that, irregular leave is not accepted, but there may be situation where special leave may be
Exceptional.
accepted. Yeah, but taking into consideration also the participation in the courses and not missing on courses that can prevent finishing the module.
After completing the training, do all officers work in shifts?
No. I think the Marisa can take this one.
Marisa, Marisa, could you tell us?
No, not the ones who are dealing with the horizontal functions. They are not working in shifts. Only the ones that actually are working with the member states in case of the joint operations, and at the headquarters, the ones who are working in the operational room, the 24/7 service, mainly is like this.
So it depends. I may compliment. I may compliment it. We are deployed in all Europe and also in the other countries outside the European Union. So our main purpose there is to support. Therefore, many times we try to fit also in the established schedules and not bring a totally new organization in terms of working patterns and leaves. So that's why we have several working patterns, and we may our officers may work in normal duty hours, Monday to Friday, but also shifts and different shift patterns. So we have a variety of working patterns that the applicants can expect to.
Okay.
To the member state and not the other way around.
Let's remember, borders do not sleep.
Well said.
Okay, I will move now a question to physical exams. Are there any thresholds for physical exams for the same people of different age, for men and women? How the candidates will be scored during physical training?
The physical aptitude tests and swimming tests are in the stage 2. So if you pass the stage 1, in stage 2 you will be invited to Warsaw for the physical aptitude test. The thresholds, the table with the points, is in the vacancy notice. I don't remember by heart everything, but I can just tell you that for the exercises such as BIP test, you have to, men and women have different thresholds.
Is there any minimum that you have to?
Yes, there is always a
reach?
minimum in any exercise, in any test. If you score 0, then it's fail. You are failing the whole procedure.
And what does it mean?
0 means that, for example, in BIP test, if you are not reaching above level 6 man and level 5, if I remember correctly, for women, that would mean that you are not passing. But if you reach higher levels, you can get more points.
Okay, so in principle, you have to pass every test.
Exactly.
Yes, you have to pass for each test the required minimum. You cannot fail any of the parts of the test.
Exactly.
Is there any source of material, any websites, I don't know, maybe books, which can help you with the preparation for the physical test, but also for the knowledge test? What can you expect during the knowledge test?
The knowledge test is in the stage 1. It's the first test. I would highly recommend to start preparing for it. We have in the vacancy notice the topics that are covered in the test.
Could you just give us some examples?
Yes,
of
there
the
are
topics?
5 topics. There is a major overlap in the topics between FG4 and AD8. The difference is that AD8 has also leadership and resource management included, but for all of them there is a topic on EU legislation related to border and coast guard functions, functioning of the EU institutions, international European and international bodies cooperating in this field. Then there are also code of conducts among the materials, fundamental rights implementation in law enforcement sector, and basic ICT knowledge.
And which materials would you recommend to actually, help us with the preparation for the test?
The whole list of the materials is already on our website in the section of recruitment updates. Among the documents that I can recall and I would recommend is definitely the EBCG regulation, the Frontex regulation. That's a must. Of course, there are other documents, but I would recommend to candidates definitely to go through it and download the documents, visit the websites. There are links.
And there is still enough time to prepare for the next stages.
Exactly.
Moving to the next question, let's say a candidate is successful in all stages, passes all the exams for selection, and is it possible for him or for her to start the training later than
No.
anticipated?
No. No. The start date is fixed for everyone. The training starts at the same time for all the candidates, and we cannot postpone for anyone. No exceptions.
Okay, understood. And about the swimming test, is it mandatory for everyone? Do I really have to swim properly,
And I would recommend here also to watch videos. That's what I should have mentioned already. We have videos of the correct technique, with description on how to perform the tests, how to do the exercises, like the push-ups, plank, and also swimming and diving.
And links are available
Exactly
on
this website, and also in the vacancy notice when it comes to the right technique of the exercises.
Practice makes you a master. So we strongly recommend starting as soon as possible if you don't feel confident in swimming or in BIP test or in any other test.
If I may say this, if someone applied for the position of Stanikor, please start preparing as soon as possible. Do not wait for the invitation to the test, because the invitation might come 10 days, 2 weeks before the date, which means that there is not enough time. Someone who is interested in being successful and they want to score good, highly recommendable. Start training immediately in all the physical aptitude, swimming. Soon we're going to publish also the BIP test. We're going to publish some additional information on BIP tests, so the candidates can practice based on the way that we do the BIP test during the assessment. And as a general rule, if something is mentioned in the vacancy, then this means it is mandatory for all the candidates to pass it. Whatever test is mentioned, no one can bypass this test. Just to make it clear, they have to go through all the stages successfully. The higher the score, the better the result and the final ranking, and higher chances to be offered one of the available posts.
All right. Could you please maybe now explain a little bit, tell us more in depth, what are the career possibilities for our officers? Let's say I'm going to apply for a team member position. What can I expect in the next future with my career? Can I progress?
Of course.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Marisa, share with us what can happen.
The agency actually offers a real progression in the career. So if we deliver the quality, of course, the opportunities will follow. Like, be more specific. In my situation, I'm a team member. Now it's open a vacancy for group members, leaders. So I can apply. So it's the way how to progress. And why I can apply, because being in Frontex since 2020, I already have some eligible criteria to meet what is needed. So yes, definitely there is a progression, and even inside or within your category, like team member, you also can progress horizontally. Now I'm in Catania, as I said before. I'm deployed in HQ, but at this moment I'm online because I'm in Catania, being a trainer and delivering training to the member states. So as you can see, there is many possibilities.
Because probably I'm the best example for this. So I started
Mihai, tell us
5
some
years.
story.
I started 5 years ago in the intermediate level, basically now probably the group leader the position. And after 5 years, I changed my contract, succeeding in the selection of the section leader. So I'm the living proof that the possibility of promoting in the agency, both on the horizontal scale, is possible, but also on the vertical scale, but also on the horizontal scale, as you gain a lot of knowledge or get in-depth training in some areas. So you become very, very rounded professional in different areas. So training, opportunities, activities, access to a lot of information and tools. I think that we are very fortunate to find ourselves in this situation.
Now, as a section leader, Mihai, what would you recommend? What are the most essential skills and characteristics of an applicant to make it successful? Most desired skills and competences.
Well, I would think that because we are here professionals from so many the different backgrounds and also different nationalities. So I think the agency is not looking for a particular set of skills that everybody should have, but for us to fit as a puzzle, you know, as pieces in a much more bigger puzzle. So I wouldn't go in to pinpoint some criterias or some skills that the colleagues should have particular skills, but I would go to the basics and also to the Frontex core values. As long as you are the professional, you are professional in your area of duty, you are acknowledged, you are respectful and also assume responsibility for what you do on a daily basis, I think you have a pretty good chance to succeed.
Okay.
I will resume like in 3 words: the presence, the consistency, and also the reliability. That I think is the 3 main things for a leadership and a group leader.
One of other quite often recurring question concern a standing corps officer who is already employed and applies for a higher position. Will he or she have to go through the training again? So from lower position to higher, is the training mandatory? Barbara?
There are different programs as a basic training. As you know, that there is a program for team members, then for group leaders and for section leaders and commanders, and the programs are tailor-made for these positions.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the content overlaps, and there is a possibility to have the prior learning recognition. So in practice, it would mean that the training for a person who already passed the basic training for team members would be shorter, as they progress
So
to the.
complementary training
It's
to offer the differences between
they would
two different
be
trainings.
they would be required to attend the modules that they are missing
Mhm.
from the other program.
Okay, I have now a couple of questions related to contracts, extensions of the contract. How will the renewal of the first contract after 5 years look like? Are there any tests? What are the conditions to have the contract renewed? And what will happen once I'm close to the end of the second contract?
Okay. I think I'll take this. Well, we recently had the contract of the first Tanicor, like Marisa, started in June 2020. They had the contracts renewed as of June 2025. So Marisa is now in the second contract. So maybe she will also have more than me to say on the conditions under which the contract is met. In order for a contract to be met, first of all, there needs to be the operational needs, which in this case we do have them. But then it's the performance, it's the appraisal every year, it's the behavior. Everything is taken into consideration, not only for the Stanicor colleagues, for everyone. When it comes to contract renewal, all these conditions are taken into consideration for everyone, for all staff members. Our contracts are standard 5+5. The only difference between the HQ staff and Stanicor staff is that for the Stanicor staff, as per regulation, there is no second renewal, meaning that after 10 years on the same contract, I repeat, on the same contract, if a candidate, if a colleague reaches the 10 years, then the contract will not be renewed and they will leave Frontex eventually after 10 years. Now, if someone changes contract, as mentioned before, like Mihai, then the 10 years start again from the beginning. So you can be 9 years in one contract and then sign a new contract on a different level, not at the same function group, then this means that you can go for another 10 years. It doesn't mean that you can be only for 10 years in Frontex in general. It's on the specific contract.
Mhm.
Now, Marisa, you recently went through the renewal.
So, and is very, as Vasily was saying, everything is upon our appraisals and our behavior as officers, border guards and the agents officers. And if we grade well, it's offer a contract, a second renewal of contract, and even further rectification in the other step as well. But it's no need for any other training or no. Everything is based on our performance during the first contract.
Thank you, Marisa. I just got a question from candidate now being online with us about psychometric tests. In case a candidate does not pass the psychometric test but has extensive experience in the field, how is this taken into account? So does the psychometric results take precedence over the proven professional experience? And could you please explain what are the psychometric tests for those who are not familiar?
Whatever is on the vacancy, it has to be successful. No exceptions. Nothing takes precedence of what. It's assessment of someone's skills. Psychometric test is part of the assessment, so everyone must pass the psychometric.
But what is the psychometric test?
The psychometric test is a combination of abstract and verbal reasoning tests that the candidates take. There are many tests online for someone who wants to look it up. I think by now it is very well known, the format of the test. There is also a lot of information in the vacancy. But just to clarify, someone's experience is also taken into consideration, is assessed. But when the right time comes, in order for someone to get to the interview and to be able to describe their experience, they need to pass the first stages. I don't know how else to describe it. Actually, to make it clear, everything that is mentioned in the vacancy, everyone must pass the minimum thresholds at least to move on, and then score well to be considered for a job.
Okay.
No exceptions.
No exceptions. All stages, all parts of the recruitment process must be passed successfully.
If it's in the vacancy, it is a must pass. That's a rule of thumb, you know. If it's in the vacancy, it's mandatory.
We are slowly closing, heading to the end of our session. I will still have a couple of closing questions. And I think the next one will be directed to Mihai. How are section and deputy section leaders linked with Frontex command structure? Does each contingent commander has a given number of section leaders and deputy section leaders under his or her jurisdiction? How does it look in practice? We know that we have changed recently our structure.
Yeah, and we moved to the chain of command from the chain of coordination. There is not a straight answer to this regarding the numbers of the section leaders. One section leader can have less or more people under coordination. So it's down to the way the joint operation are organized in a particular contingent. Some sections can have less team members on the responsibility, some more, but the operations could be even more complex with less people. Regarding where the colleagues applying and succeeding will fit in this puzzle, basically it's very simple. We have the contingent commander that is supported by one or more deputy contingent commanders, and afterwards in this pyramid come the section leaders that are also supported by the deputy section leaders that are advertised here in this call. Going further, we have the group leaders, and the group leaders are also have under responsibilities several team members that also their number depends on the type of operations that we are deploying. So I think pretty much this is, I try to sum up because there is, it can be also a big discussion on this, and we are constantly developing, and I think this is the beauty of it, because we are currently not only being the ones respecting the procedures, but we are basically part of the ones creating them.
Building it.
Yeah.
And it's still ongoing process. I think next question is quite important, specifically from point of view of women who are interested in applying to Frontex. If a woman serving for Frontex gets pregnant, what happens with her contract? Maybe then she wants to go on maternity leave for a bit longer periods. What are the rules? What happens with her contract then?
Yeah, the answer is very simple. Nothing. Nothing at all. A colleague who gets pregnant and goes on maternity, either stunning or not, because I repeat, same rules apply to everyone, will go on maternity leave. The contract, of course, will still be valid. The colleague will be receiving salary, benefits, everything, until the maternity leave ends. And that's it. Nothing changes in the contract. There are no repercussions, no issues, no implications, nothing at all. Everything keeps going as used to be.
Okay, so after returning from maternity leave, a woman gets back her position. She's back to her duties.
Well, yeah, the position is there. Okay, someone else might take the duties in the meantime, because the operations must go. No matter what, operational the continuation is very important for everyone. After the colleague comes back from maternity, then they will just assume position, might be assigned new tasks depending how long the leave will be, but contractually no changes.
Understood.
If I can complement
Sure,
you, it's just
sure, Barbara.
she can continue with parental leave also. after
Yes.
the maternity leave.
And
There is
still there is
another
no
type.
impact.
No.
Still no impact on a contract.
No.
Okay.
By the way, fathers can also take parental leave as well.
Good point.
Yes.
Good remark. I think still this is not that really popular. So is it feasible actually to work in the agency as a single parent, single father, single mother? I'm not differentiating here based on gender. Is it feasible? to be-
Absolutely, yes.
Well, yes.
May I just to complement what Vasilis was saying about the parental leave and the maternity leave? It's the same. Just because we are performing law enforcement duties, actually, it's the same as any other enterprise or corporation. Let's call it civilian. And again, the agency is very careful and takes care of this matter, and allows the women to have all the care and all the time she needs to be with the children.
Thank you for very extensive replies. Now, slightly shifting the topic, are you going to hire specific profiles like a pilot or drone operators, or maybe cultural mediators or interpreters? Anything in the near future?
For the time being, we don't have any information on cultural mediators and interpreters. Maybe it will come again in the future. We have one call last year. Maybe in the future, we don't know. Now, for particular profiles, as we said, the profiles that we have, they are very specific. They are also advertised. If someone has a particular expertise at their current job, of course, it will come in handy when they are being assessed. Maybe later on, because we have our own equipment, their experience can be used, but there is no advantage, or there are no particular profiles advertised. I don't know if the colleagues want to complement on anything.
Exactly,
Yes.
you're right. We are hiring in a general profile, let's say, under these vacancy notices that they are open. But after they are hired, we will assess their full skill set, and they will have a chance to declare their specific skills.
Okay, sounds promising. I got one question online. In the application, you ask if we have access to classified data in our current work. Are the sensitive personal data recognized as classified?
No. No. It's different thing. Personal data, we're handling personal data, all of us, but not classified information. There is a distinction between the two. But if I can take, I do have more questions, because I would like to take some time speaking about the application
I think we still have a moment.
to elaborate a bit on this, taking from this very good example. The application is very long. I understand there are a lot of questions, a lot of information to be provided. I said it at the beginning, and I will repeat it. Please always make sure that you provide the correct information. Contact details, your email address, your phone number, your name. Make sure that you put the information in the correct field, because we don't know who the candidates are. The only thing we know is this PDF document, and this is what we base our assessment on. So if someone does not put their education in the right field, then for us it doesn't exist. This is where we want to see it. We want to see the education in the correct field, the professional experience in the correct field, to provide with all the details in the particular fields for each criterion, which will be assessed by the committee. So because the selection committee later on, when you go to the interviews, they will want to see something. They need to see something that they can assess. You know, I provide some information in my motivation letter. This is something for the committee to see and then ask me some questions about it. Not everything is clear. The competition is very fierce, I would have to say. We have a lot of applicants, a lot of
By the way,
skilled
how many
competence.
applications on average do you receive?
Well, last year we received over 3,000 applications.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. This year, everything is still ongoing. Information on the applications will be provided later on the website after we close this step. But it is very important for the candidates to read the vacancy. All the information is there, to follow the instructions, fill the application properly. Only the first application counts for the standing core. Please be very careful when submitting it. Make sure that everything is correct. Use the proper communication channels as described in the vacancy notice to address any questions. We are here, the recruitment team is here to support, is here to provide all the answers, any issues, but we need to receive the communication and the question properly. If the question never reaches us, it will never be replied. We are receiving a lot of emails, a lot of questions. A kind request of all our candidates, when sending us an email, please make sure you identify yourself, you use the proper communication protocol. You know, we have thousands of applicants. We cannot know who is the candidate only by the email address. It is impossible for us. It's not impossible, but okay. It should be very clear who is sending the email, what is the subject, what is the requirement, and then closing the email again with signing, and not just greetings. We appreciate your greetings and your blessings. Truly we do, but we really appreciate more if there is a name at the end of an email, if there is a clear request, follow procedure, and good luck to everyone. That's all I have to say. Just be careful when submitting the application. We're losing a lot of candidates every year because of incorrectly filled applications. And when we make an assessment, I want to reassure everyone, there are at least 2 different people checking out the non-eligible applications. Before we decide that an application is non-eligible, we are making 100% sure that the regulation has been applied, that several people, experienced staff members have checked the application, and the decision is final. The decision is made by the selection committee. So when we're sending an email that someone is not eligible, you have the right to request for review. If you have any questions, you can ask them, but be rest assured that it has been checked properly. The procedures have been followed, and when we are telling to candidates that the application has not been filled properly, it's because it has not been filled properly. We cannot assume anything about anyone. We cannot assume that someone has graduated from high school. There are some countries that high school was not a requirement for someone to go in the police or the army, and I'm looking at Marisa. she knows very well these cases from her home country. This is just an example. We cannot assume anything about anyone. That's all I have to say. And again, good luck, be careful, and see you all soon in Warsaw for the physical aptitude.
Thank you so much, Vasilis. And actually, you have already provided your advices, your recommendation. This is what I wanted to ask you to conclude this session, to give our viewers, our potential candidates, some advice, a recommendation. Barbara, anything from your side?
It's difficult to add anything because Vasilis already covered the absolute must and the absolute basics that needs to be followed in order to be able to be admitted, I mean to be invited for the first stage, to fill the application form correctly. This is the first step. Second, also start preparing. If you haven't started yet, this is the right moment to start now, for the knowledge test as well as for the physical aptitude test and swimming. Watch the videos that we recommend for the correct technique, and also good luck. See you in Warsaw, hopefully.
Thanks, Barbara. Mihai, anything from your side? What would you recommend?
After Marisa.
Marisa, then over to you.
Thank you. So just take this step, because when you take it, the path is going to be open for sure. It's demanding. I cannot say it's not. I will be lying, but it's absolutely worth it. So my advice is be ambitious because your place is here. I cannot say more. And good luck. Prepare yourself as soon as possible. And I look forward to meet all of you here in Warsaw. Thank you.
Thank you, Marisa. And last but not least, Mihai, any recommendation or tips from your side?
Well, I would recommend for to the applicants to just think about it if they just want to be if they want to be in the front seat of this vehicle that will shape the EU security environment. I think this is the job for them. If they want a job that they brings a lot of challenges but even more opportunities, then this is the job for them. So I'm looking forward to bringing my future colleague on board because we could use the reinforcements.
We are all looking forward to get on board new candidates. I would like to warmly thank all our speakers, Marisa, Mihai, Barbora, Vasilis. Thank you for joining us today in the studio, but also thank you, our viewers and the candidates, for watching us. I hope we cover the questions that you were interested in. You got the answers. And well, now it's time to apply. Fingers crossed for your successful application. Listen to the advices and recommendation of our speakers. And well, we hope to see you here in Warsaw once you successfully pass the recruitment process. This video session has been recorded, so you can rewatch it at any convenient time later on. But remember about the deadline for application, 15th December, midday Warsaw time. Good luck and, well, fingers crossed.